Okay, so I don't normally make videos or like analytical videos analyzing like a game or like giving this much of a detailed feedback on my detailed feedback on like a game at all. Usually my feedback is given like at the end of a playthrough when I've finished playing through a game and I give some like feedback on the game. In this case, like this is different because, well, I go around YouTube, right, about this FNF Dustin game, and I usually see just like, I mean, there's people talking very highly about the games, and some people on like Reddit saying it's, you know, the best FNF game ever, which I highly doubt. At first, I highly doubted at first, but at the same time, I wasn't really going into the game. I mean, like, I wasn't. I didn't know much about the game at the time. I hadn't played it, and then, well, I decided I'll try it. I'll play it. Why not? A lot of people are speaking very highly about the game and have been for like the past 5 days. So like, and what I see is that FNF Dustin Mod is mod of the year and all this stuff. And granted, I haven't played that many FNF mods this year, so I don't know if this could be. And I won't be weighing in my opinion on that. It's not like I'm gonna be saying like, oh, it's not FNF mod of the year, even though I haven't really played that many FNF mods. This is just my opinion solely on this mod, this one specifically. Now, just to make things clear, if you don't agree with my opinion, or if you think my take, or my opinion on this game is terrible, then that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. This is just my subjective opinion. This is, these are my thoughts, and I understand that, some games can be beloved by many people, but you just don't click with it. Sometimes, and this might be one of those cases where it's a good game, a lot of people like it, and I just don't click with it. It could be one of those cases. In this case, I don't think so, but it could very well be, and I just don't know. I don't know. Just this is my opinion. So if you don't like it, or if you don't like what I say in this video, then it's fine. There are some other videos you can check out to see their opinion on the game, so you can check those out. Otherwise, yeah, this is my opinion. So anyway, I've spoken about the intro alone for 3 minutes, so let's get this started, shall we? Just to be clear, I did play through the game, I finished the game, and I took notes while playing the game. So yeah, let's get this going. Dustdale. So this was long. It was admittedly long, but to be fair, it is the primary, like the main. It's like the main campaign of this mod. It was the main story, so it was gonna be long, and I'm fine with that. That's fine. It's nice, considering it, and it tells Dustdale's story and a bit of a boyfriend story as well. So it was nice. It added a new story. So this case, I like the opening, the introduction. We are introduced to like boyfriend and that I forgot his name. I should probably know his name, but anyway, whatever. Girlfriend perishes from this rap battle, and boyfriend runs into Mount Abort. This this immediately sets up, like I guess like a bit of tension or like suspense. I'm not an expert in this, but like it sets up a drive. Like girlfriend died. I don't know why, and I want to see this through to the end. And maybe there was a good ending to what happened with girlfriend, but I this introduction that introduction is very good with hooking the player because it definitely hooked me. I mean, and then we run into like the underground obviously, and then we're greeted with Sans and the Ruined Sans song, which I found majority of these Dust Tales, the songs in chart and in this Dust Tale section was fine. I liked it. It was fairly pleasant compared to like other FNF songs where the songs were designed to be, like fast-paced and difficult and go with the game. It kind of took a downside in that I wouldn't really find myself to be adding them to my Spotify playlist, for example, to like listen to the song frequently because it was often jumbles of sounds layered above song, an instrumental song, because that's what it was for the game, for difficulty. But I wouldn't really find myself adding this kind of song into my playlist. But when it came to Friday Night Dustin, these songs were genuinely really nice. I wouldn't mind adding them to my playlist and listening to them. These are really good songs compared to other FNF songs. It's really good. And that's a pro about this game. They do the songs pretty well. Basically every single one of the songs in this game is very nice. They are great to listen to, and that in my subjective opinion they are good songs. I find it to be good songs compared to other FNF games. FNF games that I've played. There could be other FNF mods this year that do the similar thing where the song is also good and is designed for the charts. I'm not sure, but anyway. So that is good. I like that part of the game. Another part is obviously the visuals. It's very visually stunning. The cutscenes and the animations. It's all wonderful. Like you can check Papyrus's animations and Papyrus's animation in the Snowden song Kinemorto, I think it's been. I don't know how to pronounce it, but like, and it's very nice. And some of the songs also like some of the songs have lyrics in them, which adds this like awesomeness, I guess, to the charts. Because now we're not just playing bippity boppity boo. There's actual lyrics, actual words being played to what's being pressed and what we're seeing, which is a very nice addition. I liked it a lot. And the animation, back to the animation, it's very visually stunning. Visually, this game does wonders. In terms of the visuals, it's very good. Arguably, probably one of the better visuals that I've seen on an FNF mod. It's really good. Clearly, they worked hard on the visuals, like the character designs of everyone, and the art style taken for the animation style for this game is really nice. And overall, it's a visually stunning game. It's a very visually stunning game. And at first, I didn't know what gaining XP between songs was for, until I realized there was a shop where you could buy more keys and unlock different areas and different tracks to play in the free play, which added a nice like replayability to it. Other than that, like so yeah, visually it's nice. And here come the downsides. I feel like where it's very nice visually, it takes the gameplay is it's questionable. So I can explain. So the as normal, this is an FNF game, so there'll be rhythm and you press the notes and all this stuff. It's very nice, very classic to FNF games and rhythm games and all this stuff. But where I have a gripe about this game is the fact that they like two of the songs in Dust Tale, they make the notes kind of unseeable at some points. This is not as much of a case in Broken Reality, but nevertheless still kind of unseeable, as this is very evident in the Snowden song, Kina Morto, where in the first half of the song, Papyrus' section, the bones they scroll down like your arrows, which is kind of nice, kind of not, because they're blocking your notes again, and it's kind of unpleasant. It's not really wanted, and it adds this level of artificial difficulty, relying not on the difficulty and charting of the notes, and more on these gimmicks. But in the first half of the song with Papyrus' section, it was manageable. It was fine. I could deal with it. While combined with the difficulty of the song, clearly this mod is not beginner friendly. It's not designed to be played with beginner players in mind. So if you're new to FNF games, I do not recommend this mod. I recommend, a slow increase. Play some of the easier mods first and gradually make your way up. So first of all, that's one con about this game. Kinda unfortunate, but it is what it is. Because with this song, right, I ended up getting more misses playing this Snowden song than I did beating Dustfell. So either that's meant to say that Dustfell is somehow harder than Dustfell is somehow easier than this Snowden song is it doesn't make much sense to me, considering you unlock Dustfell and expect it to be hard, and it is hard, rightfully so. Dustfell is a very difficult song, and I'll cover that more. I'll cover Dustfell in more detail in the Dustfell section of this video, but this added artificial difficulty to the song at first was okay. It was manageable. It wasn't good, but it was manageable. I could handle it, right? While some others may not have been able to, I could. I at least could. But in some cases the notes would slow down randomly or can jumble together, mush themselves together and then kind of extend themselves back and just keep scrolling for some reason, and it added this level of confusion. It threw me off the songs a little bit, because then it made it difficult to judge when I'm supposed to press it, and that's not difficult as in genuine difficulty. That's more forced difficulty. You're basically adding artificial difficulty to try to make the game seem harder when really it's just unpleasant. The game is forcefully adding this level of difficulty that isn't really making the song more nicer to play, less just forcing you to miss. And if you remember the song, as basically all other FNF games rely on you remembering it, if you remember the song, then maybe you can possibly evade these misses, and hit the notes correctly. But in this case, it's pretty low. If I like to think of myself as a pretty decent FNF player, I'm not bad. So in the context of this game, I can see how it would be kind of unplayable for some players, because especially in the second half of that same Snowden song, you battle Snowden Dust Sands, and in this case, your section of the screen is majoritively being covered by bones, and it's almost unseeable. You can probably see in the background of the visuals, because this gameplay that you're seeing is mine. I recorded this. I should tell. It was pain. Anyway, it made it kind of like difficult to play, and at times I did have to rely on just spamming my keys in the hopes that I get something right, because it was unseeable. Not fully unseeable. I could see hints of it, but the fact that it was mostly blocked visually, when you're just seeing it from the screen and not playing, it doesn't seem that bad. Even though it does seem really bad, it doesn't seem as bad as when you're playing it. Because then when you're playing it, you're under the pressure of hitting these arrows, succeeding, or else, Dust Sands is gonna beat you. But at the same time, you can't see what you're doing. And this is taken to a fairly severe level when it comes to the Broken Reality song, where the notes suddenly start flipping on you. And this doesn't make it necessarily fun to do the song, considering the note flipping, like the arrow flipping, it flips from like the top to the bottom to the left, sometimes to the left, but mostly to the bottom. If you're set up scrolling, if you set the down scrolling, it'll probably flip to the top, which I have a gripe about, because it kind of makes the setting in the options down scroll, if you don't prefer down scroll, it kind of makes that setting redundant in this song, because if you don't prefer it to be down scrolling and more prefer to be up scrolling, as I do, then you'll find yourself being somewhat uncomfortable with this song, and thus listening to the song is less about actually losing and more about adjusting to the opposite scroll. And that's not difficulty, that's adjusting. That doesn't make it harder, it just means need a bit more time to adjust to the down scroll, the opposite scroll, which, well, personally I did not prefer. And combined with this, like the note flipping and the arrows, when at some points, once you've gotten used to the opposite scrolling and you can actually start to see the arrows, once you've gotten past the fact that they're flipping over and over again, then it's manageable to see. You can see it and you can play it. The only time where you can't play is if it's rapidly flipping up and down, up and down, up and down, left, right, and whatever, because then, well, they're flipping, so the arrows are constantly moving, meaning I can't even see what I'm supposed to do. You're gonna take damage from that, because I can't even see what I'm meant to do, so you just rely on like spamming the keys because of this factor of I cannot see what I'm meant to do, and if I can't see what I'm meant to do, I cannot play the game. Other than that, the song was very pleasant. It was pleasant, it was nice, and it was somewhat challenging in terms of the gimmick of attacking during the song. First of all, I don't find gimmicks in an FNF mod to be a nice option, considering like if you take like Osumania or like FNF Skeleton Bros, they don't really have many gimmicks. In FNF Skeleton Bros, the Kara song does have a gimmick in that, more than 10 misses is a loss, but anyway, aside from that, that mod was good, not because of its difficulty, but because of the animation, how the animation looked, and how the boyfriend seemed to like flow naturally between the up animation, down, left, right, and whatever. In this case, while the boyfriend animation isn't really to that style, boyfriend still admittedly in this mod looks very I'm saying stunning seems kinda not the right word because he's holding a knife, but I mean, aside from that, he looks. The design is great. It's just that factor of, when you combine the constant flipping up and down, and the factor of having to adjust to this different opposite scroll that isn't really preferred, then combined with this random notes slowing down, it makes for a pretty unpleasant song to play. It's not really enjoyable for me personally. I find it to be annoying because, well, these factors that I've said. And while the visuals are great, it doesn't really matter when you're playing the game because I'm not focused on the visuals or how good it is. I'm focused on the notes, what I meant to be playing. I'm not focused on how good the song is or how good the visuals are. I'm focused on doing the notes. So in this case, it was very unpleasant to play, and no matter how good the visuals were, I doubt it would make any difference to my gameplay experience with this song. It wasn't pleasant overall. That's not to say the entire Dustel section was bad. Some of the songs were nice to play, and some of the cutscenes, the intro sequences to these songs were great. Like, if you take Broken Reality's intro, that is sick. That's badass. When you first see it, but when it gets to doing it over and over again, it starts to get a bit long, and you're trying to skip this cutscene, which, I mean, it's a downside to doing this cool, intro sequence, which I can pass, whatever. But and the song that you play with Undyne, that's nice too. And seeing Undyne like a 1v1v1 was a very nice addition to the waterfall section of Dustel. So in summary, this was unpleasant. The two songs I'd say I had a major issue with was Broken Reality and the Snowden song. Those primarily because they were blocking the notes, and the arrows slowing down was not really pleasant because the slowing down, the notes were slowing down and randomly and then speeding up randomly, which can easily throw you off. Other than that, it's very challenging, and the visuals changing mid-song is also very great. Overall, Dustel section, some parts of it relies on artificial difficulty, and it kind of does carry for the entirety of the Dustel song, which is very unfortunate. Overall, the Dustel section isn't the greatest. It isn't the best. I certainly wouldn't call it the best in the year, but I can say, well, I wouldn't call it the best ever, but I can say it's not bad. It's okay. Visually, it's amazing. It's stunning, and the story is nice. That I mean, there are some gripes I have about the story, mainly near the end, where you see the human guy that killed, boyfriend. He says that he felt more power rising from offing, girlfriend, and has been going on an offing spree. But I mean, this is the modern world, so logically that meant that serial, criminals who off people a lot, that would mean that a lot of criminals are much stronger now from, offing people, and that kind of puts a plot hole into the story, because then it doesn't really make much sense, unless you say that girlfriend is a different being entirely separate from human, but at the same time that doesn't explain how he suddenly becomes immortal from slaying all these humans over and over again and stuff. So that is an issue with the story that I have, the story in the game. That is the issue that I have. It's a plot hole, and personally it takes me off. I don't really like plot holes personally. sometimes I can pass it and just, ignore it and whatever. And in this case, it's mostly a case where I can just ignore it. It's fine. It's not really significant. I much prefer the pacifist ending anyway. But yeah, okay, yeah. But like the song played for the pacifist ending, which was difficult to complete, by the way. Or difficult to get to, but the song for the pacifist one, not really having any gimmicks, and the notes didn't even really slow down that much. And there weren't actually any extra gimmicks like no blocking or deadly arrows or something. It made it nice to play coming from Broken Reality, because where Broken Reality had a lot of gimmicks and a lot of reasons why, had a few, well, not a lot, but a few reasons why to not like the song, and I even found it not really enjoyable to play. It made the pacifist song that much more pleasant, but that doesn't excuse the Broken Reality song. It was still unpleasant to play. I still didn't really like it. So that's my opinion on the Dustel section. I've already spoken about this specific section for 22 minutes. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, let's get on to Dust Swap. Dust Swap. Now, Dust Swap, comparatively to Dustel, was a lot shorter than I expected. In that, Dustel featured I think 4 sections, each section with 3 songs, and if you got to the very end, the 3 songs you had to get from the two endings that you could get. But so Dust Swap was admittedly short. It was, short with only 2 songs, but at the same time they were both pleasant. It was pleasant. None of the songs blocked the notes, which I liked a lot. While there was the occasional slowing down of the notes randomly, both songs were pleasant to play. My personal favorite from Dust Swap was Homicide, because personally it was pleasant. And its majority of the song lacked artificial difficulty, such as the no blocking and the flipping of the notes and all this stuff. And the fact that you played as Sans for a change was a really nice difference compared to playing as Boyfriend, because it just felt nice to play as Sans for a change. And the charts were not too challenging. I wouldn't really call it beginner friendly per se, but I could see this as one of the progressions, to become, a better FNF player or rhythm player. So it was very pleasant, the little story that they played, that they told via Dust Swap was nice, which they didn't really elaborate too much on the story, considering it was basically the same as Dustel but under Swap, which is nice. Don't have to retell the entire story, which is good. It's good. So as of Dust Swap, Homicide was definitely one of my more favorite parts of Dust Swap, because it wasn't, for me personally, it wasn't that challenging. It was nice. It was a nice challenge, but at the same time it was fine, and it was pleasant to play through. It was very nice, which overall made it a good experience. And then coming into Terminal Shock, where I definitely don't think it's better than Homicide, solely because of the pleasant feeling of the game. But Terminal Shock served a nice challenge to Dust Swap, and playing as Dust Swap or Paris for a change instead of the Boyfriend, or in this case it was Kara, was a nice difference. I felt like the judge, the judge giving judgment to this person who just offs a lot of people. it was a nice feeling. It was, very, what's the word? I'll ignore the word. The gameplay was challenging in some sense, and the lack of artificial difficulty made the challenge of the song a real challenge. It was a real difficult song without relying on external factors. So yeah, it was a nice challenge, and personally, while I don't think it was as pleasant to play as Homie side, it was still pleasant in its own right, and comparative to, the Dust Tail section, I would much prefer this Dust Swap section. It was much more pleasant and much more enjoyable. In any case, I would prefer to play this section over Dust Tail, the Dust Tail section, because, as I said, it's pleasant. And there's really not much else I can say. The visuals are still very stunning, the visuals carry from Dust Tail, still very good, the songs are still very good. And the pros from what I said in the Dust Tail section still apply. Very nice, overall, very nice. Dustfell. Okay. So this section, the pros that I said in the Dustfell section still apply to this one. The visuals were fantastic. The song is great. It's even shorter than Underswap. Can you believe it? I can't. Bad joke. So Overthrown. It's a good song. I like the song. While it is shorter than Underswap, to be fair, it does carry some artificial difficulty and deadly bones. Not deadly bones, deadly arrows. So there was that, but the fact that it was just one song did make it pleasant. And I didn't really have to worry about, oh no, there's gonna be a harder song after this. No, instead, it was just one song, and that was it. That's all you had to worry about, and it was pleasant considering this song was quite the challenge. It took me a few tries to get it right. If I check my files, then I can count that it's 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. It took me 9 tries, this one being the 10th, to finally beat it. And it was a challenge indeed. The song being alright, visuals fantastic, as I said, but what gripes me about this section is the deadly arrows. Here, I feel like the deadly arrows were executed to a not pleasant degree, considering the first half of the song, right before, the lyrical part of the song, that's pretty tame. It's pretty tame. While for other players, it could be very challenging. Personally, I found it very balanced, considering what the deadly arrows do. Basically, being they fill up that skull meter up, and when it's fully up, you lose. But not as much of them appeared, which differentiated it as well. It was nice. It made it balanced, not too difficult, and still a challenge and pleasant. It was a nice combo. And then after the lyrical part, it just goes to 10 ways on Sunday, where the notes start coming in fast, which is fine considering the difficulty and how the song was progressing. But the quantity in the amount of deadly arrows that were coming made it more unpleasant, because near the end, like almost the entire screen is just, almost the entire chart is just either arrows or deadly arrows, and deadly arrows were there to so in that sense you have to be more conservative, and here I personally had to do a few more misses just to try to avoid it. And I'm not sure what you're saying in the video here. I could very well contradict myself, because for me, when I was playing the song, it felt like I had to do quite a lot of avoiding of notes. I had to be too conservative for my liking to pass this song. Yeah, overall, the song was somewhat unpleasant to play. I personally didn't have a good time playing through the song, but it was a good song nonetheless. The visuals were great. I did like the design of the skull, despite what it's meant to do. I did like the design of it. The design of the deadly arrows were fantastic. I liked it a lot. Amazing. And the unique arrows that came with Dustfell was very surprising, but also very, very nice. I liked the design that they took with the arrows that you use for Dustfell. It was very nice, very nice. I liked it a lot. And the ghost of Asgore near the beginning of the song was very nice, and especially the design for the phantom versions of, you know, the Dustfell counterparts. They were nice. They were gory, but it's Underfell, Dusttail's Underfell, so or Underfell's Dusttail. So fair. Overall, not really pleasant to play, but it's not too bad, and I found myself enjoying it. Near the end, not near the end, near the beginning. Sorry, it's like 2 a.m. Bad time to record this video, but whatever. The beginning of the song was pleasant to play, but near the end, near the second half of the song, it became very unpleasant, very frustrating. Not as frustrating, but still annoying, still unpleasant, and I would have wished for a better experience, honestly. Personally, I never really liked the idea of deadly arrows. It just added unnecessary difficulty for some reason, where they could have just done harder arrows like a Miller mod did. I don't remember the mod. I did a video on it before, but yeah, one of them. There wasn't any extra gimmicks. It was just arrows, and it was still very difficult. The hardest one I've ever done. The hardest FNF one I've ever done. So it is possible to make a hard FNF song without the need to use external factors like deadly arrows. It's possible. Just I don't know why. So I wouldn't really recommend relying on these external factors like deadly arrows, but that's just my preference. Doesn't really matter anyway. Anyway, on to Dust Belief. Dust Belief. Dust Belief has 2 songs, and Dust Belief is probably one of my favorite charted songs in this FNF mod. Because these 2 songs don't have any extra gimmicks. The arrows don't slow down, they don't flip, nothing. It's just a well-charted song. And combined with the visuals being very stunning, it was very, very nice, very good. I liked it a lot, and especially the Haunted song. The song taking on like this more comic book like format was a really surprising change, but it was a very welcome change. Like the comic book style that they decided to take was awesome. I liked it a lot, and I mean, you could just tell from the visuals, like playing the song while in the comic book format was very, very pleasant, and the animations for Papyrus and Phantom Sands was very good. I liked it a lot, you know. And the last part of the song though was, dark. I mean, you can see your boyfriend like bleeding, and that's eesh. So very dark, which theme for the game, because it's a Dusttail, so of course it would be dark. It's Dusttail. Anyway, overall, the song was a very pleasant experience, different from like Underfell or Dusttail. This was very pleasant. If I had to pick a song a specific song to play for like the rest of for like just the next time I play FNF Dustin, and I'd pick this one because you know the no gimmicks. The song was well charted. Overall, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was well charted, and the songs themselves, as always, were very good, very nice to listen to. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Dust Belief a lot, and it was a nice change compared to Dustel's gimmicks and stuff. Anyway, now on to well, the last Dust AU of the game. The game features being Dust Shift. Dust Shift. Dust Shift follows the same trend as Dust Belief in that the song featured no extra gimmicks and thus, you know, no added artificial difficulty. So there was no like, you know, as I said in the Dust Belief section of this video, there was no arrow flipping, there was no notes blocking, there was no deadly arrows, nothing. It was just a genuinely difficult song. And it was nice, you know. There's not much to be said about this section. Just it had the same pros as the Dust Belief section, so it was very nice. Personally, I like the visuals a lot. I mean, the True Lab and the Amalgamate in the background. Ooh, it was pleasant. It was nice. The art style for the True Lab shined like very well, and the use of the TV. Incorporating the TV into the chart was an amazing decision as well. I liked it a lot. And yeah, there's really not much for me to say with this section. It was very pleasant, very nice, and personally I really enjoyed the Dust Shift song. And if I were to have an opinion, if I were to compare the Dust Belief and Story Shift compared to everything else in this, you know, mod, I'd pick Dust Belief. Dust Shift is a close second, mainly because Dust Shift only features one song, where Dust Belief has like two songs, so two pleasant songs to play. But still, Dust Shift was, you know, very pleasant. It was nice to play, and I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, there's really not much else to say. The visuals were amazing, and seeing Phantom Azrael in the background of Dust Shift Kara was damn, you know, it was terrifying. But yeah, and in terms of the pink flames on the player, you know, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, it was creepy, but an unnecessary creepy. I don't know why the player's head and arm went on fire for some reason. I don't know, but whatever, you know. I don't know, but hey, unwanted, but don't really change the gameplay. It's just visuals, so I shouldn't really care too much about it. Yeah, that's it about this section. And for the summary and the closing of this video, which is already very long. Overall, what do I think about this game? I think the game, to put the points down like a massive summary. The visuals are great, the songs are great, the character design and art style is wonderful, the cutscenes are great to look at. It's just the core gameplay in Dustcell, Dustfell, and partially Dust Swap sections that made those three sections really unpleasant to play. Dustfell was unpleasant to play primarily because of the poison arrows and the sometimes the slowing down of the notes, but primarily because of the second half where the balancing between how many deadly arrows to put compared to the normal arrows you're meant to hit was iffy, it was questionable. Dustel's, the gripe that I have with Dustel only comes from two songs, the Snowden one and Broken Reality, where it primarily comes from the blocking of the notes using the bones in Snowden, and the flipping of the arrows, again blocking of the notes, making it unseeable in Broken Reality. Overall, it's a decent game with some poor gameplay choices that, in my opinion, only serve to downgrade what could have been a wonderful game. Just that a little bit. While visually stunning, for me personally, it's not as good of a game as people make it out to be. It's certainly not the best FNF game ever, but it's decent, it's not bad. I would scale it as it's alright. The visuals are great, and that's maybe why I could say it's a good game, but personally, the gameplay was kinda iffy, it wasn't the greatest, so I'd say it's not bad. It's decent, it's okay. Could do better, but it's okay. It's alright. It's okay. It's not bad. Now, I would like to reiterate here, if some of you don't at all agree with my opinion, if my opinion causes some kind of anger, I apologize, though my opinion on this platform doesn't really matter. It's just, I'm just a guy spitting my mouth out and saying words. So at the end of the day, you don't have to take my words seriously. You don't have to take my opinion seriously. You don't have to take this already like 50-some minute long video seriously. It's okay. It's fine if you don't agree with me. You don't have to. This is my opinion. This is what I think about the game, and I've said what I wanted. The game isn't the greatest. It's not the best FNF game ever, as some people say it is, and I see some people on Reddit kinda agree that saying that it's the best FNF game ever is a stretch, but it's not the best FNF game ever. I'm not sure if it's the FNF game of the year, but it's not as good as people make it out to be. Visually, it's stunning, but gameplay-wise, it has some questionable moments, it has some decent moments. Overall, it's not bad, not the greatest, not the greatest, but it's not too bad either. It has its bright moments, it has its good moments, it has its holy god, this is awesome moments, and it has its terrible moments. So overall, it's alright. It's okay. You can do better. It's alright. I don't mind. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you're still watching this video, even though I have like only 388 subscribers, slowly going down because I don't post that much, admittedly, even though I should post more. If you're still here after like, what, 40-50 some minutes of the video, then thanks. If you just get all the way to the summary, then it's not ideal, but thanks. Either way, I appreciate it. Even if you click on the video, I appreciate it. Just a little bit of attention is appreciated, and but whether you like or dislike, I don't really care, because this is my opinion. I'm gonna stick to my opinion unless I'm proven otherwise, which in this case I doubt I will. This is just my personal opinion on the game. Other than that, thanks for watching. You don't have to agree with me, but if you do, nice. If you don't, also nice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one, if I even post. See ya.